Hi everyone, welcome to the Celebrity Diaries. Stephen A. Smith, an American games media figure, is well referred to for his jobs as a TV character, radio personality, and columnist. He habitually gives NBA examinations on ESPN, showing up on shows like Games, the NBA Commencement, and Different NBA Communicates. Furthermore, he's facilitated the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio and is an observer on ESPN's most memorable Take a Close Look at Molly Carum. Smith likewise contributes as an editorialist for ESPN and the Philadelphia Inquirer. He's perceived for his sharp investigation and serious disposition until April 2019. Smith was procuring $5 million every year, except he protected another agreement with ESPN in mid-April 2019. Lifting his compensation to $8 million every year, making him the most generously compensated character at ESPN at the time. This status changed in Walk 2020, when Tony Romo's CBS bargain outperformed Smith's contribution by a faltering $17 million every year, starting around 2023. Smith supposedly procures $13 million a year with ESPN. His assessed total assets remain at $28 million. Stephen A. Smith, who has never been hitched, was uncovered in a December 11, 2019 meeting with GQ that he and his two girls, Samantha Smith and Nyla Smith, matured 11 and 10 separately at the hour of the meeting. Despite the fact that he was once drawn in, he didn't continue with the marriage. When examined regarding the purposes behind not proceeding with it, he answered that it didn't resolve matters of truth. "I just let my sister know that a day or two ago, not your concern was something about my work and my cash. I said this isn't a conversation. You'll find a solution to offer. You'll find a solution to offer you a response." Stephen Anthony Smith was brought into the world on October 14, 1967, in the Bronx, a suburb of New York City, and he was brought up in the Hollis segment of Sovereigns. He's the most youthful of his six kin, with four more established sisters and a more seasoned sibling named Basil, who unfortunately passed away in an auto crash in 1992. Furthermore, he has a relative from his dad's side. Smith's folks started from St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, with his dad filling in as a chief at a tool shop. His dad was a notable b-ball and baseball player. Smith's maternal grandma was white, while his other grandparents were dark. In 1986, he moved on from Thomas Edison Secondary School in Sovereigns. Subsequent to spending a year at the Design Foundation of Innovation, Smith got a ball researcher boat to go to Winston-Salem State College in North Carolina, a generally dark college. During his time there, he played b-ball under the training of Clarence. He acquired a lobby of popularity mentor in spite of being an individual from the ball group. Smith additionally contributed as a journalist for the college paper, the Argus, where he broadly contended for Gaines' retirement because of well-being concerns. He's additionally affiliated with the Omega Psi clique. Smith graduated in 1991 with a 4-year certification in liberal arts degree in mass correspondence, remaining at 6 feet, or 1.85 meters tall. Stephen A. Smith has an outstanding actual height. Smith's profession on paper media started with jobs at the Winston-Salem Diary, the Greensboro News and Record, and the New York Day-to-Day News in 1994. He changed to the Philadelphia Inquirer at first as an essays covering the Philadelphia 76ers prior to expecting a more extensive games writer job anyway. In August 2007, the Philadelphia Inquirer declared his reassignment to an overall task columnist position, driving Smith to head out in different directions from the distribution in 2008 and send off his own blog, StephenA.com. He later got back to the Philadelphia Inquirer in February 2010, following a judge's decision, yet with the state of eliminating his political perspectives from his site and linked news appearances, Smith wandered into radio, facilitating in April 2005 with a workday show on WEPN in New York City, which later extended broadly on ESPN Radio anyway. He finished his public broadcast in April 2008 to zero in on TV Open Doors. He momentarily joined Fox Sports Radio in November 2009 as an on-air supporter prior to turning into a morning show. In January 2010, during this time, he accurately anticipated huge NBA player developments. Smith holds areas of strength for his old neighborhood groups, the New York Yankees and New York Knicks. In February 2011, Smith got back to ESPN as a journalist for ESPN.com and a host for Workday public broadcasts on 1050 ESP, EN Radio New York, and 710 ESPN Radio Los Angeles. His spell with 710 ESPN Radio Los Angeles closed in April of 2012, after which he joined 98. 7 works as a feature of ESPN New York setup, co-facilitating the Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Rocco show, and until the late spring of 2013, he then moved to Sirius XM Radio, explicitly Chris Russo's distraught K9 game station. Anyway, Smith got back to ESPN on January 17, 2017, facilitating a day-to-day, 2-hour program heard on WNN New York Spin in Los Angeles SiriusXM's ESPN station, and through partnership Smith's TV process started in 1999 on the now-old CNN's Link network in August 2000. 5L. He initiated facilitating in all honesty with Stephen A. Smith a day-to-day hour-long show on ESPN following its undoing in January 2007. He zeroed in dominatingly on ball, expecting the job of an NBA examiner. He likewise showed up on other ESPN shows, including Fantasy Job, and filled in as a customary visitor have on programs like Exoneration, The Interference, and Jim Rome is copying. Furthermore, he partook in First and 10 and secured the Sunday morning release of Sports Focus on April 17, 2009. Smith reported his takeoff from ESPN's successful May 1, 2009, referring to unique ways among him and the organization. Anyway, sources recommend bombed exchanges among ESPN and Smith. Additionally, assumed a major part. Smith ultimately got back to ESPN, and on April 30, 2012, it was uncovered on air that he would join First Interpretation of a long-lasting 5 days per week premise as a component of another arrangement named Embrace Banter, where he participates in energetic conversation with long-lasting First Take pundit Skip Biss. In late 2014, he inked a long-term manage ESPN purportedly worth more than $3 million yearly. On June 11, 2015, Smith confronted analysis for making a chauvinist joke while remarking on a replay of an objective score during the 2015 FIFA Ladies Reality Cup. ESPN resolved the issue with Smith, who thusly apologized through Twitter for his Remar imprint in ensuing years. Smith extended his telecom profession, joining the Discourse Group for boxing and UFC occasions. He likewise showed up as a pundit for the all-nighter inclusion of the 92N Foundation grants in 2020. On June 10, 2021, he wandered into Saucer Inclusion, choosing an Euro 2020 group, and presented a section named Ain't No Chance. Stephen A. Smith played his most memorable acting part on the ABC cleanser Oprah General Emergency Clinic on February 2, 2007, where he depicted a TV columnist in a short appearance. Really loved the show since adolescence, affected by his sisters, who watched it routinely. Smith savored the open door. He later repeated his job as Block on Broad Medical Clinic on Spring 31, 2016, and has kept on making intermittent visitor appearances in similar job in resulting a very long time. In 2007, he additionally showed up in the Chris Rock movie I Assume I Love My Significant Other. Beginning from 2014, Smith has been highlighted in a progression of Roberto all-regular hamburger jerky plugs. As the little voice in your stomach in these ads, he imparts a screen to dip. Different games characters like Seattle Seahawks, cornerback Richard Sherman Genius, snowboarder Louis T.O., and prestigious b-ball sportscaster Dickie V is essential, from his starting points in the Bronx to his ascent as quite possibly the most unmistakable voice in sports news coverage. Stephen A. Smith has explored ups and downs with unfaltering assurance and a pledge to greatness, gaining the appreciation of associates and fans. The same is true of his unmatched understanding and unflinching enthusiasm for the game. Well, that is all there is to it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video.